everyone, I'm Anne-Marie from brambleberry.com. Today I'm going to be showing you this awesome advanced soap making technique called the Clyde Slide, made popular by Clyde of Vibrant Soaps, and using all of Brambleberry's rainbow micas. This is going to be fragranced with Rainbow Sherbet from Brambleberry because, well, what exactly do all of the micas in the rainbow smell like? They smell just like this. It is fruity, it's floral, it's heavy on the citrus notes, and most importantly, it does so phenomenally in cold process soap that we can get these really, really ornate, gorgeous designs, separate this all into 7 different colors, and still have time to work with the soap better. So because I do want a lot of time to work, I am going to use the Brambleberry Quick Mix, the Swirl one specifically. That gives me more time to work with the soap batter. And I'm going to be using the 5-pound sliding bottom mold with the silicone liner insert to make sure this unmolds beautifully and easily. All right, let's suit up for safety. So goggles and gloves, children and pets in another area, and make sure you're soaping in a well-ventilated room. So because of the technical nature of the soap, it's really good to get prepped ahead of time. I've got my fragrance already poured. Still smells delicious. And now I'm going to add my micas directly to my containers. Normally, of course, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I typically pre-mix all of my colorants with a little bit of oil. And in this case, I'm not doing that because I'm working with mica specifically. Mica is already very finely ground, and so the danger of it clumping is very, very slight. If I was using a pigment, there is no chance I would be doing that. Another thing is that I'm sort of eyeballing the micas here. I'm just doing about a quarter of a teaspoon for each. Remember, you can always add more color, but you can't take it away. And so I'm starting pretty conservatively. For the purple and the red, I'm going to do just about a half teaspoon just to make sure that I get a really vibrant color with both of those. So now I'm just finishing off with about a tablespoon of super pearly white. That'll give this a more kind of basic white to start with. That'll make it a little more pastel, make the colors pop a little bit. You can add that mica directly to your base oils. Okay, here we go. I love this. It looks so pretty. Trap any mica bubbles underneath the stick blender. And now we are ready to add the lye water. We are going for a very thin trace because we are going to be separating this into all the individual colors. And I'm going to pour it down the shaft of the stick blender, slowly turning on the stick blender. One thing to note is I did use optional sodium lactate in this water to ensure that I had a harder bar faster that was easier to unmold. And this is basically just barely emulsified. We're pretty much at pouring because remember, we can always get thicker trace in there. So now I'm just going to eyeball this, but I'm going for right around 400 to 500 milliliters. And remember, we can always add more. You can't take it out. So I'm just getting a very kind of good basic color in here. Then I can stick blend the colors as needed, or I can hand stir. Since my fragrance isn't in yet though, we have a lot more time to work with this. And that will also give this a nice clean bowl to work with. So, because we're gonna be pouring directly back into this bowl. So I'm gonna do this to each container. When we don't disperse our colorants with oil, or we do have to do just a little bit of work now, but I mean, we saved ourselves so much time at the beginning that for me, it's a good trade-off. Totally up to you, personal preference. We wanna get all that color in though, so we don't have any mica that surprises us at the end. And don't forget, we'll probably do a quick stick blend right before the pour anyways, after the fragrance is in, to ensure complete emulsification of everything and to ensure that the fragrance gets mixed in really well. This hot pink mica is really vibrant. It's such a pretty color and it looks beautifully pastel too with that super pearly white mixed in. Okay, now I'm gonna move to the purple because that's the most close to the color of that hot pink. Yeah. It's really hard to get a good purple in cold process soaps. I love this Queen's Purple mica. So now I'm just gonna whisk in my fragrance so we have plenty of time. The stick blender will come. I'm just gonna do it at the end. And because I measured this out, it's totally fine to eyeball this. And the fragrance really does react beautifully, which is such a joy to work with. And now it is time to get started. So I'm going to stick blend these really quickly. We're gonna pour gently down the sides, and you're gonna pour in one area. Here we go with this gorgeous rainbow pour. I love these brambleberry micas in this batch. Just pour so beautifully and evenly, and the colors are really looking gorgeous together. For a more kind of complicated swirl, you would pour less. So I'm doing about a 5 count pour. You would do like a 3 count pour. So kind of like a 1, 2, 3 instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I want to make sure that we have a beautiful batch to work with here. And so you're just pouring in even amounts down the side. There we go. And now that we've got all of this out, it's time to pour into the mold. So pulling over my 5-pound slider mold with the silicone, I'm gonna pour gently into this side here, and we're just staying in one place. So it's 1, 2, 3, pour. 1, 2, 3, pour. Wow, it's like a rainbow sherbet of colors. It's just beautiful. 2, 3, pour. 1, 2, 3, pour. I love my rainbow river. It's so pretty. Oh, it's so hard not to want to mess with this too, like just to swirl the top and just keep going, but really part of the way this design works is you just let the soap pour in from the side and slowly flood your mold. And now I'm just gonna kind of even this out like this, there we go, and just finish up. Beautiful. Whew. There we go. So now to make those colors pop, you can put it onto a heat blanket, cover it up, and check it out in 1 to 2 days. It should be ready to unmold in between 1 and 4 days. So this batch of soap was made just a couple of days ago, and it's ready to unmold, fingers crossed hopefully. So with this 5-pound mold, you can just pull the slider from the bottom. It's a little tight intentionally. You just pull the slider from the bottom so that you can allow for some airlock to release the silicone liner, and that makes the whole thing easier to unmold. And now that this is fully unmolded, how I like to get my bigger batches unmolded is just pull gently away from the sides. If you experience any tearing at this point, you want to stop and give this soap another day or 2. Pull gently away from the sides, flip over, and since this is a flat top and a flat surface, you can totally just flip it over entirely and let the airlock break, and there you go. Perfect 5 pounds of soap. And then you can either use a multi-bar cutter at this point, or I like to use a non-serrated sharp knife because it creates a really smooth, even cut and doesn't show any air bubbles. And then each of these bars will look different. When you get it off the knife, you want to slide, not pull. And there we go. One perfect and interesting bar of soap. I love this technique. So now these bars are ready to sit in a well-ventilated area and dry out and get extra gentle and cure for the next 4 to 6 weeks. The way they become maximally hard. When you're ready to sell or give them away, just wrap them up, label them appropriately, and there you go. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so each and every time we come out with new videos, you're notified. And when you make this project, or any other ones that you've learned from this channel or using Brambleberry products, please hashtag it, hashtag BrambleOn, so we can find you on social media and get inspired by what you're making and you're creating. Until next time, everyone, happy soaping. I'll start that again.
It's okay, you got it.
Just wearing my sherbet sweater.